Hi everybody, how are you doing today? I hope you're having a good day. Are you ready for chapter 4 of the Calendar Club? It's called More Clues. Leon opened his hand. I found the red rock, he said. The one mentioned in the note, asked Casey. Yes, said Leon, and there was something under it. Leon put the rock in his pocket. He pulled out the note and read it. A gawk is missing. Where could it be? Some say a gawk's favorite number is 3. Gawks are shy, don't call their names, but one was seen on Cherry Lane. We'll pass Cherry Lane on the way to town, said Dottie. Wait, said Leon. There's one more thing. He opened his other hand. I found this under the note. Dottie and Casey looked at the thin white string in Leon's hand. Casey touched it. It was as hard as wire. What is it? She asked. That's what Uncle Eddie puts on his rod when he takes me fishing, said Dottie. Could a gawk be a kind of fish? Asked Casey. She put the string in her shoebox. Dottie added it to the list of clues for a missing gawk. It could be, said Leon, but the blue feather we found made me think it was a bird. Could it be a birdfish? Asked Casey. I've never heard of a birdfish, said Leon, but I've never heard of a gawk either. They continued down the block. They put the flyers in the mailboxes of all the people they knew. They gave one to Mrs. Miller, who was standing in front of her house. Thank you, said Mrs. Miller, but she didn't read it. She looked upset. Is everything okay? Asked Casey. Not really, said Mrs. Miller. I took this sandbox out last night to clean it. She pointed to the large green plastic sandbox on her front lawn. My grandkids are coming, and they love sand, she explained. Casey heard a noise. What's that? She asked. That's the problem, said Mrs. Miller. I was about to fill up the sandbox when I heard that noise. Could there be a gawk inside the sandbox? Asked Casey. A shout, asked Mrs. Miller. A gawk, said Dottie. What's a gawk? Asked Mrs. Miller. Leon took the blue feather out of the shoebox. We're not sure, he said, but it might have feathers like this. Frogs don't have feathers, said Mrs. Miller. Frogs, said Dottie. We thought they were gawks. I don't know anything about gawks, said Mrs. Miller, but I do know my sandbox is filled with frogs. Dottie, Casey, and Leon lifted the lid to the sandbox and looked inside. There were 6 frogs, Dottie said. I cannot keep 6 frogs in my sandbox, said Mrs. Miller. We could bring them to Mr. Cliff, said Leon. We're on our way to see him now. He looked in the wagon. I think we need more buckets, he said. I think I've got a couple, said Mrs. Miller. She went to get 2 more buckets. Casey put Mrs. Miller's frogs in the buckets, and they continued on their way. Did you find it yet? A voice called out. See all the frogs in there? Peeking into the sandbox. There's frogs. They turned. Warren Bunn and Derek Fleck were riding their bikes. They skidded to a stop. You don't have to bother looking for the gawk anymore, said Warren. He waved one of the flyers in the air. I know all about it, and I'm going to be the one to find it. Yeah, said Derek. We're going to find it. Warren pointed at Leon's foot. Hey, Leon, he said. How did your shoelace get stuck on that slimy thing? Leon looked to see what his shoestring was stuck on. April Fool's, said Warren. Made you look. It's not April Fool's Day yet, said Leon. Warren and Derek rode off laughing. Warren laughed so hard, his bike started to wobble. He rode into the curb and fell off. Are you okay? Dottie called out. I'm fine, said Warren. He got back on his bike. Don't forget to wear your helmet, a voice called out. Dottie, Casey, and Leon turned. Officer Gill was standing at the corner. Come on, said Casey. I bet Officer Gill knows what a gawk is. And the 3 friends went over to ask him. Chapter 5. Turning into toads. I hope you guys are having a good day, and I will see you later.